the vulnerability to say, I'm not good at this. I'm a novice. I'm new at this. Take some vulnerability.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, that's uncomfortable. Don't want to do that.
Thinkless. What are we not thinking enough about? Join us as we evaluate our thought life. I'm Parker, and I'm here with my co-host, Amber. Welcome to the show. New things.
New things. That's it. What are we not thinking enough about on new things?
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you what I love?
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I love.
Okay. Am I out?
Yeah, I love, go New York.
Because I'm New York and
go
you're,
New York.
I'm LA.
LA. I love the band Laney, you know?
Yeah.
LA, New York. That's how it started from coast to coast. Yeah. LA, New York. There we go. I know.
It.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about bands. We're not here to talk about hats. We're here to talk about what I love.
Okay.
Which is doing something new.
Oh, I do too.
I love doing new things, trying new things. Now, are you familiar with the Enneagram? You an Enneagram type person?
Yes.
Okay. What is it? I don't know if I've ever asked you, what is your Enneagram number? Maybe,
I think I'm an 8.
Okay, I could see that.
You can?
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you take the test to learn that? Did you come to the discovery of by reading a
No, I
book,
took the
or
test.
You took the test.
Yeah.
Okay.
The assessment.
Oh, touche.
It's
Not you don't get a score.
You don't pass or fail it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How many times has that been said? Yeah.
So I am in a 7 on the Enneagram.
Okay.
Now my strongest wing is an 8. So I can resonate when it comes to challenge, when it comes to I think the challenger is the 8. So you can see that.
Yeah.
But
well, guys, here you say I've heard
something about an Enneagram 7 though is I get bored easily.
Yeah.
And so that can be a good thing, that can be a bad thing, but I really love to try new things. Now, change can be really hard for some people. Sometimes I like to just change things up for the sake of change.
Yeah.
Because I just get bored, which once again can sometimes be a negative thing more than a positive thing.
Yeah.
But I think that change is inevitable.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do think that growth in that change is a decision.
I was going to say that is not mandatory.
That is not mandatory. It's not mandatory.
That's a choice for sure.
Yeah. So I love trying new things. Like I've been learning French for a little while now. I'm not going to speak it because I'm not going to.
Okay, because that's where I was going. Yep.
Is what can you say, bonjour?
You just said that the 8 is the challenge, and I was about to do that. I was about to just hit home with that.
Yeah. I'm new. All right,
Yeah.
It's a new thing. But do you like trying new things? You said you did. Yeah,
I do. When COVID happened, and everybody was all wallowing in COVIDness. I was like...
COVID wasn't a thing in Texas, though. So.
I was like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
We just gained so much time. Like, I've never had that kind of time.
Yeah.
Because like we've said on many other episodes, we're just both doers, go.
Yep.
And that's just the way I'm wired. Like I told my grandmother one time, she was like, honey, I think you need to slow down and smell the roses. I was like, I don't know, 16 or something, right?
Well, Gam,
yeah.
I think you need to shut up.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I was like, I think some of us were made to pick the rose and smell it on the way. I was like,
can I walk and pick at the same time?
I don't think that I was meant to just stop.
Yeah.
And like, just be here. Like, I don't think I'm that person.
Yeah.
I'm like always going and I'm enjoying it. And I'm not enjoying it just because I'm not standing there looking at it. Like I'm taking that bad boy with me and let's go, let's smell it, let's enjoy it. And let's just keep going, but in COVID you had to stop and slow down. And I was like, whoa, what is this? It's like the Matrix. And in that I was like, we got to do something new. We got to do something new because here's the other thing. When you stop doing, you stop having things to talk about. It's like, what are you going to talk about? We're all looking at the same thing. And I was like, okay,
the weather.
Now we're going to like all the news and all the all that I didn't want to talk about. So I was like, hey, we got to try something new.
Yeah.
So I picked up tennis. I'd never played tennis a day in my life.
Let's go.
And I became obsessed with it. I currently still am obsessed with it. We're at Confessions of Tennis Hour now. But it was so frustratingly fun.
Yeah.
I mean, starting something new, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There is something exciting about it, but something so frustrating. Like my mind knew what to do.
Mm-hmm.
My body just couldn't get there. Like not enough repetitions, learning too much. And I kept saying every time I stepped on the court, my mind was having to think of turn your hips, turn your racket, turn your grip, like every little thing, step with the other foot, you know, all these things I was having to think of, but that's also what was exhilarating to me because it took me out of my norm. It takes you to see some different perspective, to look at things differently.
Well, I think the only way to gain new perspectives is by doing something new that you've never done before. Because, you know, you mentioned it earlier, ultimately you can stay in the same pattern of thinking. You can stay in the same conversations. You can, whenever, even some of those people in your life, maybe that you went to high school with. So I recently went back to my hometown and my dad still lives there. And so I don't go very often because it can kind of be hard for me.
Yeah.
Because of this, like nothing's really changed.
Yeah.
You know? And so which kind of breaks my heart too, because there's people that I love that are very near and dear to my heart that I'm like, man, what you could experience could be something so incredible, but you have to get out of the normal. But everybody's normal is different.
That's for sure.
Because for sure, everybody's normal is really comfortable for us.
Yep.
Because it's like, well, in order to do something new, I have to like apply a level of effort to do
vulnerability.
And for sure.
It's crazy amount of vulnerability and security you have to do something new. Like the first time I got on the tennis court, and I'm out there with girls that have been playing since they were in like junior high, and I'm like, great. Which way do I hold this thing again? I'm swatting bees out of the air, for crying out loud. I'm like, and I'm crazy. I've, like competitive athletic mind.
Yeah.
The vulnerability to say, I'm not good at this. I'm a novice. I'm new at this. Take some vulnerability. Yeah. And a lot of people, that's uncomfortable. Don't want to do that. Don't want to feel vulnerable or can't feel vulnerable.
Well, it's the vulnerability, I think, is first off, what am I trying to say? This is what I'm trying to say. Let me collect my thoughts. This is what I'm trying to say is, I don't want to appear to be weak or not good enough. So, I feel
like this is a whole other episode we could do on vulnerability.
For sure.
But I think, to do something new, that has to be there.
Yes.
I could go all day on vulnerability and what that is. But I think if we're sticking to really trying to figure out what we do new and how we do that and how we gain a new perspective, a sense of vulnerability has to be there.
It does.
In order to do that. And there has to be a drive to say, I want to see something different. I want to know something different. How many people do you know in your life? I'm not going to talk to everybody that like, oh man, they like pin stuff on Pinterest. They share stuff on Instagram. They're looking at all these things. They're like, someday. You're like, when is the someday going to happen? Like you're going to have to get outside of your comfort zone and make someday happen.
Today.
Like it doesn't happen if you don't step outside of your comfort zone to make it happen.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, whether you're going to try a new diet, whether you're going to try a new discipline action with your kids, whether you're going to try a new workout program, whether you're going to try to approach your desk differently every day because you're miserable at your job and you're just like, I hate this place. And you're like, you know what? I am going to try something new today.
Yeah.
I'm going to come in and I am not going to turn my computer on first.
Yeah.
I'm going to go say hi to at least 2 people.
Yeah.
Before I sit down.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to make this place somewhat tolerable until I find out what else I'm going to do.
Yep.
It's like you've got to make that someday happen yourself.
Yes.
And that's usually with the new.
I don't know who I was talking to. This was a little while ago. Maybe I've shared the story with you. I don't know. I've shared it with several people.
I'll stop you if you did. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Parker, shut up. No, so we were talking about the gym earlier, and I, for a while, I would just go to the gym and just put my head down and just do and work out.
Yeah.
And while that was very comfortable for me, it was kind of my place of it was just kind of my time. You know what I'm saying? It was my time.
Totally get it.
It was my time.
Yes.
But I really felt kind of this conviction of like, I feel like I'm missing out on, and I'm a very relational being.
Yeah.
Like I love people. I really, really do. But I viewed the gym as like, no, this is my space. And so, but I kind of felt the conviction because there was this older guy. He was, I don't know exactly how old he was, but he is in much better shape than I am. Like, I'm like, yo,
what
homie.
you eating?
Yeah. What are you doing, dude? But he's older for sure, but incredible shape. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ask him. I'm going to go ask him what his mindset is around fitness, what his mindset is around exercise, diet, whatever. Like he looks incredible. And so I walked up to him and I said, hey, you don't know me. I don't know you, but you look better than me. What do you do, man? And so we built this in that conversation was very incredible. I learned that he just adopted exercise and saw it as a meeting in his calendar. Rather than just like if I get to it. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, that's a really helpful perspective. Like I want to be able to see my fitness, my exercise as it's just what I do every day. It's every day in my calendar. And so I was like, that's helpful. But then he told me, he was like, Parker, he said, I'm 63 years old. His name is Charlie. I love him. I see him all the time. He's a great guy. But he said, if you want a great perspective, you need to go talk to Vincent. Now, Vincent is over there. He's 89 years old. And what was Vincent doing as an 89-year-old in the gym? He was on the freaking row machine, just going. And I was like, this guy.
Okay.
This guy.
Trumped you, buddy.
Exactly. Yeah. Charlie,
we're
you're
not
cool.
competitive in the gym at all.
For sure.
See ya.
For sure. So I walked over to Vincent and I said, Vincent, you don't know me. I don't know you. But what's your mindset? What's your perspective on fitness, working out? And he said, the best thing you can do for your brain. I was a clinical psychologist for 50 years. And the best thing, he's 89. So 50 years.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Like half his life.
Props to Charlie.
Charlie's the younger old guy.
The younger old guy.
The younger old guy. Vincent is the 89-year-old guy on the row machine. Let's go, Vincent. Getting it.
Okay.
And so he was like, the best thing you can do for your brain is you can move. And so I was like, amazing. So in a matter of 20 minutes, I got two perspectives and I met two different people. Yep. And it only because I was like, no, I'm gonna step outside my comfort zone. Like it's not hard for me to talk to someone. I'll talk to anybody. Yeah. But once again, that time I just kind of deemed as my time. But I was like, I need to get out of my comfort zone and meet some people that I see regularly at the gym. So from those two conversations, I was like, okay, I want to meet someone new every day that I'm at the gym because I see people all the time. I see the same people all the time. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, how can I meet all of these different guys that I see that I make eye contact with, that like a spot or whatever. And so from that, I've made some of the most incredible relationships. Yeah. I met pilots, I met engineers, I met doctors, I met so many people that I'm like, well, it only started with a new perspective of how can I get outside of my head? How can I stop seeing my time as like, this is my time? Mm-hmm. And I can put myself out there to be able to meet people that are much further along, that are much better than me in whatever different regards. But it required me to do something about it rather than, as you were saying, rather than just like stay in the one day or the someday. The someday. I wanted to turn my someday into today and make that change.
Yeah. When I was counseling, it's funny because I used to always say the name of the game is getting somebody to see from a new perspective, right? Like it's easy for me to see your problem. I'm outside of it, but that doesn't do you any good. Yeah. It only does you good if you can see your own problem. Yeah. To do something about it. Yeah. So when people would come in and say, they struggle with their eating habits or they're struggling with depression or whatever, I would say, praise God. And they'd be like, what? Well, praise God, you can see what your problem is. Now we just have to have a new way of looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because the old way
absolutely
hadn't been working.
Yep.
So praise God that we know now what we're looking at. We got to see a new perspective. Mm-hmm. So I was always trying to get people to see from a new perspective, because if you see from a new perspective, you've got choices.
Yeah.
To make changes, to be somewhere different, to do something different in your life. But without a new perspective, you only see what exists.
Yeah. And
what exists isn't making you happy.
Yeah.
And so I've always said in the filmmaking industry, in the content, this show, everything is about, in my opinion, trying to get people to see a new perspective.
Yeah.
In their own way. Mm-hmm. That way, the freedom is in them being able to make the choice to do something different in their life. And I hope that is a new perspective to do something good, something better in your life. Yeah. To make a change for the better in your life. Mm-hmm. It's, we have no control or power over making anybody better or changing, but we do have the ability to share experiences, to offer opinions, offer thoughts to others that go, oh, I never thought of that. Yeah. I think in marriage, would you say you and your wife are the same personalities or opposite personalities?
Very much the opposite personalities.
Which is pretty typical.
Yes.
Which in my opinion creates a balance. Yeah. If you have two of the same, somebody's redundant and they're replaceable. But when you have two differences, now you can make a whole. Yeah. And it's their perspective helps you see from something you never would have seen before. So every day you're brought and challenged with a new perspective. Yeah. It's how you approach that. It's how you receive that, how you accept that. Yeah. But it is far better to know that the whole picture is being looked at instead of just one angle of the picture, like having both of them and having the respect into seeing both sides of it. It's the hardest part is putting our own expectations on somebody else from the way we see. We want them to see like us, right? Yeah. But to appreciate that new perspective that they bring to you on the daily basis, is something you have to learn to adapt to and understand, and then obviously couch that in love and everything else that goes with that. Yeah. But that new perspective from you, that's exciting to me. It's like, I know I'm going to be thinking, it gives you also the freedom to think the way you think and gives them the freedom to think the way they think. If like, hey, okay, both of us, I'm going to be worried about if the kid's emotional being is okay. Yeah. And you're fundamentally going to keep us on time. Like there's, I'm not going to damage us in us being late. We're not going to it's not the end of the world, but also we need to be respectful to keep time, right? Like there's a balance to it.
That became real. All right. I am a very punctual person.
Yes.
And my wife, I think time for her is just suggestion, So anyway, that's very relatable. It's very relatable.
That was hit it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So seeing something new, a new perspective, but your ability to see the way you see, it's funny because when you put that expectation on somebody else, like I can tell you there's been times in my husband's life where he's like, Amber, I've literally never had that thought. And I'm like, really? It's like my whole world, because the perspective that I see. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, what was your thought? Yeah. And then seeing from another perspective, I was like, oh, like I've never had that thought. Yeah. But I guess you're kind of right. Yeah. It's good to be able to see from other perspectives. And then sometimes you see and you're like, that's terrible. Well, why do you think that?
For sure. And so we're all victims of our own bubble as well. Yeah, sure. And so even just kind of like culturally speaking, it's like, it's so easy just to only listen to the narratives that like I agree with rather than ever getting outside of the bubble that I'm in to listening to an opposing view. Yeah. And that's why I think even just the ability to disagree, but disagree in love is so powerful,
Yeah.
because it's like I would have never, if I only hung around the people that I know are speaking the same language as me, then I will never learn a new language unless I put myself in a position to be around people that speak different languages than me. And so I think that is so important, to where if we're only staying in the bubble of ideology or narratives that we're believing, then we will never even lend ourselves an opportunity to maybe like have a conversation and ask people, why do they believe the way that they believe?
Well, they say how deep are your beliefs really if it's never been challenged?
Yeah, for sure.
Right? It's like the tree that's planted on top of the hill. It's like a little bitty tree. That tree's roots are so much deeper than the one that's planted down by the valley, because the one in the valley has all the water it needs and no resistance. Yet the one up on the hill that has to deal with all of the elements has to just grow roots straight down.
Yeah.
Blows out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's that concept to say, like, what challenges if you don't ever look for something new, how do you ever challenge what you think or what you know? You know, if you're never getting outside of your bubble or your box to be challenged.
Yeah.
And for me, that's like exciting. Like, I love to have hard conversations because it forces me to think something new.
Totally.
Or it forces me to go like, yeah, no, I'm still pretty steady on that thought process there. Like that just solidified in me even more why I believe what I believe.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate the differences, you know, but this is what I think and what I believe.
Yep.
So trying new things, seeing new things, I think is ultimately where the rubber meets the road to growth.
So what's one new thing that you are excited to try that you have yet to?
Oh. I don't know.
Got him, listener, watcher.
I don't know. You know, I usually have so many things that I think the reason why, Parker, is because everything I'm doing right now is new.
Yeah.
Literally every single day. I mean,
this is new.
Yes.
You and I sitting across the table from.
Okay, that was my first thought. Was this is new?
Yeah.
My second thought was, I mean, just in between one of our breaks of taping, I get a phone call. It's a brand new scenario for me in the studio. Brand new thinking, brand new configuring, brand new business, like the whole thing. So my mind is just racing on, I only can see what I can see from. So who can I ask? What can I do? You know, what can I think of differently? Am I thinking of all the things I should be thinking of? You know, so I don't know that I can take another new thing right now. Everything seems new in my life. But I'm always looking for new places to hike or new towns to go to, new experiences that I can experience or a personal challenge within ourselves. Right? Like if I'm like, I really need to master like kindness in a certain way. Or I need to really master worship in a certain way. So I think I'm always challenging myself in a new something. All the time. Because I think if I'm not growing.
Yes. Of course.
So now it's just kind of my nature to just do something new all the time. Without it, I kind of get like, kind of being lazy.
No.
You know, I mean,
totally.
When I flew to Korea by myself, that was something brand new. When I stood on stage and spoke in front of a whole bunch of Koreans English.
You didn't try
brand
Korean?
New. Nope, I sure didn't. I really felt bad because I feel like if I had known Parker that I was going to do that, I might have tried to say hello.
I look back on different opportunities that were scary, intimidating, that maybe even I got kind of pushed or forced into. And those are the memories that I remember the most. And so it's like even over these next couple of weeks, I'm taking a group of like 20 some people to Guatemala, which is a new place that I've never been. We partner with several different organizations there, and I've never been there, let alone led a team of people there, let alone like, so there's a lot of new things that I'm very, very excited, but I'm like, man, like it's only in those times that I learn more about myself. It's only in those times that I feel like I learn more about other people. And so, yeah, I'm constantly looking at like, man, what is the new thing that I can try?
Yeah. I went to this like retreat. Do you know Bob Goff?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
what a guy.
What a guy. He and his wife are amazing. They are a true picture of God's love. They truly are.
Yeah.
Anyways, his first ever retreat at his ranch for speakers, I went to.
Okay.
And so I was there with some other ladies that were successful in their careers. And one of the ladies I met there had a really cool concept. Every single year in January, she learned something new. Whether that was card tricks, pogo stick, new language, hairstyles, graffiti. They were like all...
The pogo stick has me peaked. Interest
right here.
Interest peaked like right now.
See? Rollerblading.
Yeah. That's fun.
The ukulele.
Yeah.
All these things. Yeah. Instruments. All these different things every year. And she did it for the whole year.
Wow.
That new thing for the whole year. She mastered it. And the next year is like, okay, I'm going to do something new this year. One year she tried to memorize like some people's names along with like a flower or something. So then she matched history things. You name it. She just thought up all these new things, and she's like, prayed about it. I was like, that's it. That's going to be my new thing this year. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to focus on it for a year, and then I'm going to do it. But just think about it. If you did that, how many new things you would learn and then master the new. Because how many times do we start something and then we don't master it?
Of course.
We're like, it's not really for me.
Yeah, I kind of get bored.
Or you just get bored.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
Yeah, so that was something that kind of really inspired me, to be honest, to just pick up more new things. Yeah. This career has just been completely all new. Like, I didn't come from this industry. It wasn't the industry I knew. So everything I've touched has been new. Yeah. In this. But challenging myself to pick something that I could go, I'm going to try to master that. Like one time it's writing and calligraphy, and just practicing that. Yeah. So it's just kind of a cool concept that maybe challenges people in.
Totally. I think that's a great practical, like speaking of the practicals, and as we kind of close, it's like that, just evaluating first off, have I learned anything new recently? And if I haven't, well, could I adopt a practice of maybe once a month, like start small. Like once again, doing it, it's like, oh man, doing something new for a year, like, oh geez, like that could be overwhelming maybe for some people. But it's like, well, what could you look at today and that you could just do over the course of a month? Maybe it is tennis. Yeah. Maybe you could go play tennis once and just see what you think. Then maybe go back the next week, just pick a thing and just try it. My wife and I, we went, we love to paint. Cool. We don't paint regularly, right. But we did a while ago, but more recently we're like, man, let's do this. Like, let's go to little shops and, paint and drink wine or whatever and do it. That's kind of been very much a creative outlet for us, but also something new that we now love to do together. Yep. And it's gotten us out of this kind of bubble once again of just the routine. So for anyone listening, you should just pick a thing. Yep. And just try it. Just try something new. You'll get a new perspective and you'll get a new appreciation
100%
for the people that maybe are excellent and skilled in whatever that is.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.